Well, hello everyone out there in YouTube and StreamYard. Welcome back to Partick Hill Station. As you can see, it's storming here, and everyone has been told to stay off the highways because it's too dangerous and not to travel if it's not necessary. Anyway, I just thought I'd give you a look of a sort of typical wintry, stormy day here in the Toronto area. And let me just swing around here now. Now they've got that out the way. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for your support over the last few years. And, I've said it before, it wouldn't be possible to have reached that threshold of 1,000 subscribers. It was really quite a journey and some frustrating times, as I said, and I would never have done it without, without your support. I've tried to bring different stuff to the table, let's say, and with the amount of traveling that we did in the last year, was certainly able to bring a few different things, like some of the stations that we were able to visit, and also I did the excuse me for stretching here. I did a series of model railway enthusiast magazines, and I intend to do more of that in between doing other things. So there's lots to be done around the railway, and one thing I'm going to focus on is basic electrics, because I really need to come to terms with this and get a better understanding, because there is much improvements that can be made. So, Mark Hemmel down, how are you? Good of you to drop by in a busy Christmas Eve. And Clive, how are you, Clive? How's the weather there in Northern Ireland? So yeah, I need to get a better understanding of the electrics, considering I had that near fire with one of the points, and I want to avoid that. I'm thinking of putting in a third rail. I'll need to think it through before I start changing the track. At the moment, the outside line just goes in a loop. It can't get into the sidings because I changed the track immediately after the big meltdown, and I never put those points back in again. So that might be the first thing that I should do, and that's why I've got to read this, study it, so that I can have power on both those tracks, right? And probably independently. Let's see what Mark's got to see here. Yeah, I'll certainly share whatever I learn. And there's much to learn without question. I was busy doing this. That's one of my other hobbies. So talking about hobby, well, let's get back to the track. I've got basically two main tracks, and I have 4 lines in the station. And at the other end, which is like a fiddle yard, there are 3 tracks in either direction. and that gives me the opportunity to store some locos and coaches and wagons, etc., and set them up for the next run. Wet in Ireland, well, I guess that's news today, Clive. So anyway, the one of the issues I've mentioned before is my points aren't electrified, so they're manual. And what I've noticed is sometimes when I've got trains running, I'll have a loco that's in one of those siding tracks begin to creep towards that point. And the only way I'm going to solve that is by getting into the electrics and installing isolators around those points. I think that's the only way I can do it without electrifying the points or putting a piece of wire in and pulling it whenever I wanted to change it. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm filming live, it's easy to get distracted because I'm looking at the chat line and I'm not paying attention to what's going on elsewhere. And sometimes I get a derailment just because I've not changed the point, and that's a result of not having a board that you can look at. So there's a number of challenges, a number of issues that I have to really consider what I'm going to do moving ahead. But one thing I'll probably end up doing is with my cricket machine. I was watching a video the other day where the individual, if I can find something, no, I can't. What he did was he took something like a Metcalf kit and he scanned it, or he loaded it into the cricket machine and then cut all the shapes out and then cut them out on styrene, and so they matched up perfectly. And that might be the way to go. And I'm going to study that to see how I can proceed with it, because I really like to make use of it. It was an expensive machine. I don't want it sitting idle. Well, there's Lee. Merry Christmas, Lee. And how are you? So I find that I get easily distracted with the layout. Things to do. Always want to be producing videos. Like I made that one that I posted earlier. I did that over a couple of days, and I'm sure it's the same with you, Mark, Clive, Lee. You go ahead and make a video, but you got to think about what you want to present, get the trains lined up, get the camera set up or cameras, and come up with an idea of, well, there's Valley 56. Good evening. And Merry Christmas to you too. And while you're there, here's the, once again, I'll ask this question. for you lucky guys that are going to be receiving the prize from the 1,000 draw that I had, I'd appreciate, make me a little video of, hi Charlie, here's the prize that I won. Thanks very much. And, thank you and all the rest. And that would be really very good because it brings some validity and good positive feedback on the web that, yeah, I reached this threshold. I did this celebration. I gave away some prizes, and people actually received them. Because sometimes you don't know what's going on. Sometimes people have these draws and people don't get the prize. So I just want to make sure that it's all above board. So yeah. Anyway, there's a track. I want to add buildings that I'll hopefully get to on the cricket machine. Matty Mapman, lucky you, yeah, Matt. I don't know when you're going to receive these gifts. I guess if you won one of Jeff's coupons, that's great. You'll get it kind of immediately. That's excellent. But some of them that I've shipped, they may take a couple of weeks. The North American local was a bit on the heavy side, but it's gone and it works. And get it on your track and film it and show me. That would be great. So yeah, I need to look at a couple of things. Boxcar Jerry, hey, how you doing? Thanks very much for dropping by on a busy day like today. I'm sure you might be inside also with this weather. So, about the layout, I've basically got two sets of wires going to the track, and that might explain some of the locals will slow down going round a bend. Now, that may be the case, or it may not be the case. What's Jerry saying? It's cold and windy. Yeah, well, we've got snow, ice, whatever here. So anyway, so that may be the reason why I get these locals slowing down now and again. And they're nice, big, wide radii. So it may be that the power's dropping off over there, and it's not a great distance. It might just be that the locos are rotating a little bit. I'm not sure. So another thing to consider. And I need to think about putting a bus wire in. And I started drilling holes around the track where I'll put droppers in to see if that improves the running. And yeah, so I've got all those things to think about. Dropper wires, bus wires, points, toggles at the points if that's the route I'm going. Thinking ahead about the type of videos that I'm going to be working on producing. Doing a couple of Auto Railway Enthusiast magazine reviews, and I'll be doing a bit of traveling also, so you might not see a lot of videos. Uh, well, thanks very much, Dinmore Junction. Very kind of you, and wish the same to you and yours. And I hope the weather is better where you are than what it is where I am. And for those who have not seen it, I'm going to let you try and get. So there, it's storming. Um, and hope everybody's safe out there wherever you are, whatever the weather conditions is at your location. Yeah, so you might not see much running. I might be able to record some stuff and then load it up later uh, when we're traveling. Uh, but it'll be a lot of reviews, discussions about wiring, um, building, etc., etc. Oh, Digger Evans, ahoy there, matey. How are you? New Junction, good evening. Or, yeah, it is good evening. Good of you to drop by. Sorry, I don't have any trains to show you at the moment. I thought I would just do it this way because I just posted the video. Andrew Dobson, yeah, and a brave new year. Yeah, you got to be brave to go outdoors here. Yeah. So, I was, at one point I thought maybe I should dedicate one line to DCC. And fit a DCC chip into one of my locos. Now, I haven't completely forgotten about that idea. I may get around to it and do it, but it's not high on the list at the moment. There are a number of other issues. It's like Double O Bill. I watched his video this morning, and he was, just thanking everybody for the donations, talking about the number of locos that he's serviced and what he's learned, and his ideas moving ahead, and the challenges of fitting it all in, and that is certainly a challenge. Doesn't matter if you're retired or not retired, or working evenings or working daytime. There's still lots to be done, and lots to think about. And there, as I said, there's lots of stuff I want to be going on with. I'll probably go back in and review a number of. Hey, Darren, how you doing? I'll probably go back and review a number of Double O Bill's videos on some of the repairs he did, and then of course the one on the multimeter. I watched it a couple of times. I'll need to go back in and redo it because it's a very important topic, and I'd just like to get more comfortable with that so that I don't end up frying myself or setting fire to the basement. And that's one of the dangers of having a layout that's got four sides and operating well. And to get there, you've got to climb under. So if something was to happen, I'd be in deep caca if I was stuck in there. um, at the time when I did the layout, I did the boards, I didn't really think it through properly. Um, I thought, yeah, I got to get some tables up and get tracked down and start running trains. And I did that. And then this friend of mine said to me, "Oh, Charlie, did you include a lift out section?" I was like, "Oh, no, I didn't." Right. But that time it was too late because I had it all fitted and bolted together and I had track down, or at least some track down. And I thought, no, I can't start hacking away and then trying to come up with the mechanism to have this drop in, drop out section, drop in, pull out section. It would have been a good idea, but that's all in the past, and I just have to be careful and practice good safety. I have a, a fire bottle by the door, ready for action in the unlikely event of something going wrong. So, um, and most of the stuff I've got, well, okay, I have a number of old Triang locos, and I keep them running. I service them every now and again. That class 35, same as the one that Alan Loft has. He's got his running superb. I've had mine apart a couple of times. It still hesitates a bit, and I'm not really sure why. I've got some old princesses, and they run great, like absolutely no problem. Especially the ones with the newer wheel sets, even though it's the old Triang short length. But yeah, it runs great. And then I've got a number of more recent models. Plus, I've got that Pendolino. That interestingly enough, the card burnt out, if you recall. Now, that may have been related to the burning out of the point on the other side of the layout, but it was times apart. I can't remember the time frame between the two of them, but that's what happened. So, I took that apart and I thought, okay, I'll see what's working, what's not working. So the card is burnt out, and the motor might be okay. So at that point, I was asking you guys, okay, can you help me out here? I need to get a list of items. And I made up a list of parts that I needed for different locos that I've got. And I included in that list a new card and, possibly a motor for the Pendolino. Because it's a shame it's sitting in a box, and, when it ran great. And I asked who would be the best to go to. So you recommended Lendon's. So I went into Lendon's site, and yeah, they could supply just about everything I requested. And I got back to them, and then the young lady there said, the young lady said that, hi to everyone. Sorry, my typing is awful. Hey, Darren, no problem. Absolutely no problem. I'm just going back here. 11 watching and only 5 likes. Yeah, thanks very much, Dinmore. That's good of you to come up with that. And I'll get back to that in a second. But just to stay on the line of parts. So the young lady that I was corresponding with said, sorry, Charlie, we're very short-handed here at the moment with COVID and whatever else. I'll need to get back to you, or somebody will get back to you. And I thought, that's fine. I'm not in a hurry. I'll work with you. It's great. Thanks for contacting me. And then a week or two later, uh, she responded again and said, very sorry, we're just not able to help you at this point. Okay, that's unfortunate. So my list all went on the shift. On the shelf. London's great. I went there first in the mid 70s. Yeah, like from all reports, um, it sounded as if everything was going great, um, but it just didn't work out. Uh, so I'm going to have to uh, think about where else I'm going to go. Maybe Rails or Sheffield, uh, or if you can suggest anywhere else. Um, I'm just going to try something here, so just bear with me for a second, um, and see how this works. Uh, yeah, there you go. How's that? Um, so that's the thumbnail uh, from the video I posted earlier. Um, Peter Spares. Yeah, Clive. I'd be happy to buy them from Peter Spares. Uh, I'll need to send them a list and see what the response is in terms of uh, postage. Um, to post something small, light from here to the UK, uh, as I did with those little books, that was $12. So I would imagine, uh, a little bag of bits and pieces wouldn't be that much. Um, so I'd have to make up a list and say, okay, hi Peter, can you help me? Uh, here is here's a list. Could you quote me uh, the price for postage? And the good thing about it, just like Hattons, you get G, the VAT back. You actually get it applied to the cost of your postage, so it might work out just fine. Uh, Local shed in Bury. Yeah, okay, I'm not familiar with local shed in Bury, but I'll certainly um, get onto that. Yeah, okay. Lee, I'll certainly get into that. So that local that you see right there, it's a black 5. Now, I got that from a guy in the US, and it was on a presentation block of dark wood with a rail on it, piece of track. And he said, I don't know what this is about, whatever. And it was a fairly reasonable price when I got it. And I don't think it had ever been run because the wheels were perfectly clean. So I looked into it a little bit, and it turns out, and you guys probably know better than me, um, it made by Hornby, uh, but I think it didn't have a successful run, and they may have stopped producing it. But it runs for me. It looks nice. Another black 5 in the stable, and yeah, happy to get it out there. So let's see what else is happening here. Yeah, I'm sure they do, Darren. I guess it doesn't really matter these days where you're located. Um, they'll ship to you for a cost, of course, and if you can get uh, the VAT deducted, um, then that's very helpful. Uh, and I'll make that contact, but I'm not going to do it uh, immediately because, as I said, we're going to be traveling, and I don't want stuff piling up um, in the mailbox or at the post office. So, but it certainly will go on my list. AC models, Clive. Where are they located? I'm going to get a pen and mark this down. Yeah, that's um, yeah, of course, Peters and located in Bury. You know, I may try Lendon's again just to see what's going on. Local shed, yeah, and AC models. Yeah, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, so where is AC models located? It's always interesting to know. I go through the old magazines and try to see what model shops are open and um, unexpected power outage. What happens here is when you get ice, um, uh, it hits the hydro, the electrical cables, and you get a short, and all of a sudden it goes off for a couple of minutes and then back on. But Gorn, I'm glad you're. Hopefully, you're all still around there. So a new Black Five. and a TTS decoder and never got it out the box. Oh, and why was that? Any particular reason? Are you having to put the decoder on yourself, or did they fit it for you? Because the Black Five's is a very nice local. I've got 3 or 4, some in a state of disrepair. One of them you may have seen, and that one is where part of the tender is broken off, and the wire is going from a tender to the local. And, he who cannot be mentioned, that's all I'll say, was very helpful when I was trying to resolve that issue, but I never got a complete explanation. And I think the only solution for that is to find a new tender bogey for that particular Black Five, and then rejig the wiring, because I can't run it because, of course, the tender's flopping around behind the local, and you don't really want that. Youngsters World, where are they? Never heard of them. So, oh yeah, and Digger, I'll just say on here, thank you very much for taking the time to measure up your catenary. So, and sending it to me, that's a big thing. Now, what I've done is I've got a number of little bags of the evergreen plastic model structural sections, and the idea is that I'll lay it all out, see what the best approach is, for that top and bottom chord of the catenary. I might just use a flat section of styrene and do the same with the struts, or I've got angle irons which I can use for the struts. And I was thinking of using channel sections for the posts, and I'll use flat sections to tie the posts together. So once I get my act together and make a decision how I'm going to proceed, I should be able to move ahead with that. And that might be something that I would take with me when we go on vacation, and I can stick it in the case and then lay it out and glue it together. Hopefully, when I've got a quiet moment. I'm not really sure about that. Let's see. Kings Lynn. Well, I've got a connection with King. There's a guy on YouTube who repairs all. He posts videos on what he's repairing. Darren, is that 00 Bill? Because I made something of steel using plastic card and some tile spacers from the do-it-yourself. Yeah, exactly. Fortunately, stick with it, Darren. You're doing great. So I've got column sections that I got from Evergreen, and I'm going to use them to tie the top chord of my bridge. I've been putting that off because I wanted to get the right size or suitable size structural section for that, and that'll be a relatively simple task. BJ Models, Clive, where is that? BJ Models. See, if you don't ask, you don't receive. Well, that's 100%. Excellent. That's great. That's the other thing. Whenever I do a video, a live one like this, I would, after the fact, I'd go into YouTube, and this happened just the other week. And in fact, I think it was during the 1,000 subscribers, but I think there were 16 in total watching. I would have thought because it was a giveaway, I would have been inundated with people trying to get in and see if they can win something. But when I went into YouTube after the fact, there were 40 people watching. Now, I'm not sure if that's because the 24 other people didn't want to go on the chat line. They just wanted to sit in the background and watch. I'm not sure what your experience has been in terms of numbers and what kind of reception you get, because and there again, you've got to think, what is it you're producing, Charlie? Are you doing something of interest to somebody or some people out there? And, I'm sure you all must ask the same question, because if you watch any of these guys who try to offer advice on the best way to run a YouTube channel, how to gain more followers, work on your thumbnails, your content, etc., etc. And I've gone through all that, and then you go, oh wait a minute, I've got 9 people on here. What am I doing wrong? Meanwhile, and no disrespect to anybody, and I love looking at everybody's video to see what they do, how they do it, etc., etc. And Jenny and Zoe do a great video every Monday. I don't know who watches it, who doesn't, but there's a whole different crew watching them on a Monday, and I contribute to it. I send them in videos just to give them something different to show, like all the stations I visited on that cruise. But they've been around much longer than me, and they have a very rich following. I mean, rich in numbers. And some other people that I watch have got more than 1,000 subscribers and have regular high numbers. I don't know about you guys if you keep track of that, but it's a challenge. But I just plow on. Okay, if there are 4 people watching, that's great. It means that I'm sharing something with 4 people, and that's what it's all about. Now, getting back to Kings Lynn, I have a bit of a connection with Kings Lynn because when I was living in Glasgow, my best friend at school, very, very smart guy, he was given an interview at the university down there in Norwich. And he didn't have enough money to get down there, so I loaned him £5. Now, £5 back in, oh, I don't know, 1970, 71, whatever it was, £5 was a lot of money, as you probably know. I never did get that £5 back, and he went there to read European history in the German language, and it was something so abstract from the type of character he was, and he ended up uh, being a social worker in Liverpool. So it's funny how the world turns, and where you get connections. Uh, YT filter my message. New modeler shop. Hmm. Tom Houston, how are you? Yeah, £5. Yes, a lot of money. Regardless, Clive Newland. Yeah. So you're saying you're in Birmingham? Uh, are you in Birmingham permanently, or are you just visiting? Because I thought you were out on the East Coast somewhere. I was in Birmingham one time. My buddy and I went on a road trip a few years ago. We went over to Glasgow and visited family and friends, and then we drove down through the borders to Carlisle, and we had a bed and breakfast down at the old station. This place was down a hill, an old Victorian building, and the viaduct was right outside the window. Anyway, we were on this journey of going to visit old battlefields and museums and wherever else, and we went to Flodden and a whole host of other places. We went to Crewe and visited the museum, and went to Birmingham, and we went to the Aston Villa versus Blackburn game when they were still in the Championship, and the stadium was half empty. And we're sitting there behind the goal, and these people said, "Oh, where are you boys from?" "Oh, we came down from Glasgow." "What? You came from Glasgow all the way down here to see us?" Yeah, we did. Yeah. Anyway, it was another journey. So we saw lots of interesting things, and we were in. Where were we? So we went to York and we visited the museum there. It was great. Then we went to Crewe, and I think we arrived there on the Sunday, and it was closed. Maybe it was too late for us, and then we had to leave early the next morning. But the APT was sitting there. I was at that grocery store, and I was standing by the gate, and the APT was sitting right there. So that's it. Darren, which one is that? I don't know which. Oh, maybe he's saying, yeah, that's the YT channel, Double O Bill. Yeah, yeah. As I said about Double O Bill, he's done some great stuff out there. And once again, I'm going to bring up the topic of John Cham's 123, John's Amazing Trains. Now, I was able to contact John, I know, a year or two ago. He had been sick, recovered, and then had some eyesight problems, and didn't think he was going to be able to make more videos, and that he was going to be selling off his collection. and had begun the process of posting it on eBay. And I promised myself I would call him back and see how he was. And I've just misplaced his number, but I'll dig it out and get back on and see how he is. But yeah, John's Amazing Trains had a absolutely fabulous collection of trains and wagons and coaches. And if anybody was looking for any 100% quality stuff, you should track John down and see what he's got left, because I doubt if it's all been sold, because he had hundreds and hundreds. If you get into his YouTube channel, you see he had them all laid out in the bed one day, and then the next day a whole new set. Yeah, John, he did some great stuff too. And in fact, when I first got into thinking about trying to build the layout, I had bought a number of locos and wagons and just put them in boxes and set them aside. And that's when I was doing a lot of travel through work. Anyway, he did this tutorial on how to convert that R935, the Triang Hornby controller. And it had to be a specific date. What's the... Oh, there's Dwight. Yeah, Dwight, how are you? How's the weather down your way? So there's a specific date that John was able to change the gubbins on. And basically what he did was he removed a tiny little heat sink, and he said, get the biggest heat sink you can. So I rummaged around some old or broken electronic, radios, whatever I had, and I found this nice big piece of aluminium, and I cut it so that I could get it in. And then you had to add in one of these 555 chips that you put onto you attach the wires onto the heatsink, and then jump a couple of wires on the back, solder it between this point and that point, because you had to cut the line that was bringing taking the power out, wherever. Anyway, I did all that successfully, and I was thrilled at that because I knew nothing about electronics. Anyway, I spoke with John and I said, okay, John, I didn't quite get what you meant about a battery. He said, well, Charlie, you got to take a car battery, he said, and hook that up to the mains, and then run it from there into your controller, and use a couple of alligator clamps. And I did that, and I made a video of it, and the video is on my channel, with one of those Class 91s. And I had this local crawling, absolutely crawling, as I put power to it. It was unbelievable. And that was the thing that John was saying. He said, if you make this change to this controller, you don't need DCC. You can make your trains crawl. And he was right. But the one thing, he got back to me and he says, oh my God, Charlie, you could electrocute yourself there, because I hadn't put insulating tape on the alligator clamps, and I was sort of stepping gingerly around them. Ever a klutz, right? There's Dwight saying hi to Lee. John did a good couple of video upgrading the older and newer controllers. Exactly, Tom. That's the very ones I'm talking about. And I made a video about doing it, and I don't know. I think I got 11,000 views on that video. Yeah, it's funny. Some of the videos that I did, I got a surprisingly huge amount of views on it and thumbs up and everything else. Um, Another one that did well was the coffee maker. So these nice coffee makers that do cappuccino and whatever, they get plugged up. So I found a way of taking it apart and cleaning it out. Posted a video and went gangbusters. Anyway, so we're down to 9 guys here. That's just tremendous at this time of the day. And um, hopefully I've said hi to everybody here. Yeah, looks like it. So anyway, guys, I wish you a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a good one. I'm not getting anything for Christmas because my wife and I agreed. No, I don't buy each other anything. And I never expect to get a train or anything. The only person who ever gave me anything model railway related was my mother-in-law. She went to a dealer in the city of London, Ontario, which is about a 2.5 hour drive from here. And the guy ran the business in his basement type thing. And she bought me a scarlet and cream XLNER composite coach, like beautiful in a box. And she also bought me the Hornby station that you can see part of it there waiting to be constructed. And the only reason I haven't constructed it is I wanted to make sure I had the right configuration for the tracks going through the station, and also now I'm just seeing who's just come in. Well, somebody's probably gone out and back in again, but that's okay. So I think I'm set on the configuration of the tracks in the station, but now I've got this thing going with the catenary system. Now, the catenary, I doubt, will fit underneath the canopy, but I might fit one just outside the tunnel and one on that side of the tunnel, or that side of the station, and maybe one further. See, it's difficult, left and right. No, that's the right one. There you go. So never a dull moment here at Partick Hill Station. Who's just joined is Sergio Antonio Suarez Fuentes. Buenos dias, amigo. ¿Cómo está? Muchas gracias por joining. That's tremendous. ¿Dónde está Sergio? Where are you? Mexico. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, Sergio. Muchas gracias. That's tremendous that you've taken the time to join in. I need to brush up on my Spanish. But yeah, that's great. Unfortunately, I'm going to be signing off in a couple of minutes. But please, Sergio, come back another time, or check out these other guys here on this list because they've got great sites as well. There's always lots to see in the community, and I'm just guessing that you're a model railway enthusiast, or maybe you found me some other way, maybe from my sketching. You might have found me that way. Regardless, yeah, sorry, Darren, it comes out. We were on that big cruise, and I had to learn to speak a little bit of Turkish a little bit of Italian, French, Spanish, and end up Portuguese. So I was able to get by a little bit. Um, but yeah, Feliz Navidad. Um, so whereabouts in Donde est en Mexico, Sergio? Um, I've been to a couple of places in Mexico. Um, okay, bye, Mark. All the best to you for sure. Um, uh, yeah, I'm not sure if Sergio is going to be able to get back to us, but yeah, it's been a great year. Uh, Managed to cross the line with that 1,000 subscribers, which was just tremendous. And I have to keep bashing on, coming up with new ideas, new subject matter, things that will be of interest to you. And I'm certainly going to be following you guys when we're away. Um, and I'll let you know where I am from time to time. Um, so, anyway, thanks so much for dropping in. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas day. And I might just drop one more in before New Year. We'll have to see how my schedule is. Anyway, guys, thanks very much. Uh, Hola, amigo, and we'll see you next time here at Party Hill Station. Merry Christmas, uh, Feliz Navidad, Compianos. Can't remember that one, but yeah. Okay, bye everybody. Take care, and thanks for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it the big thumbs up. You know how it goes. Ding, 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 ding. Get on that train. Bye for now. Bye.